Getting good at that, y'all. Oh, my shoulder can only take so much of that. Argonaut. Give everybody Argonaut energy. Well, if you've never watched me before, this is Big Pontiac, otherwise known as 8-Win, otherwise known as the Time Lord. Well, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the Infinite Ball Game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your galactic daddy-o, and welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. Drink all my beer, so I'm just drinking copper water, so pop them if you got them. I am still smoking, so smoke them if you want them. That is on you. Welcome to this Tuesday morning. I didn't bring them in here. Welcome to this Tuesday morning version of the Chocolate Show, the Late Show. This peaceful and kind of chilly night. My goodness, tearing shit up. What's up, Mr. Lamborghini? What's happening, Jody? Thank you for joining. Hey, Strong Discernment. What's happening? Oh, same to you. Always, Jody. What's the name of those bowls? Oh, these are called singing bowls. I want to say all of them are made in. Now, this one was made in Nepal, but most of them are made in Nepal, India. But just singing bowls. Singing bowls. Yep. Well, thank you. And that's the intent. That's the intent, is to, to like, you could just listen to that part to try to get some high vibes. You ain't even gotta listen to the rest of my rap. You just listen to that part. And if we can give you a little uplifting, um, like vibration is a good way to get negative energies off you. Some of these tones, certain negative energies just don't even like messing with, so they avoid stuff. And so this can kind of push that away, cleanse the area a little more. And so it's just whatever helps you, that's all. And if just a few minutes of that can help and soothe, then that's why I do it. No, I don't rap, man. How a 60-year-old rapper look? But since you mentioned it, let me see if I can remember the words. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. It's not unusual to be in love with anyone. But if I see you hanging around with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry. I want to die. Oh, I just thought I'd give you a little of that Tom Jones. Nah, I'd rather sing than rap. I can't rap. Just a quick question. Rig Sports, do you have any notable people I should listen to on the topic? Definitely Lobo. Lobo is putting that work out. And what's his name? He's on Zach's channel, One Infinite something. I forget names, but he's another brother. Look on my page, you'll see One Infinite something. One Infinite Consciousness. I think that's his name. He's another good brother. He's kind of on the line with Zach and them in the gematria, but One Infinite One, I think, is his name. Or One Infinite Conscious, I think, is his channel. But Lobo too. It's a couple other dudes, but since they took away the other channel, a lot of them dudes that was like further in the work, I lost all them. When they take away your channel, they take away everything. Like, they took away all that music from 14. All the people I was subscribed to. Don't remember some of them names. So hey, Crazy Sarge. My small child watching me. Hey, brother, got my small child watching me. Any advice you would like to get out to her? Enjoy your time together. Like, my daughter has come on. Like, what's funny is my ex would tell me, when my daughter's home, all she do is stay in her room. And that's the level that you see. Like, my 19-year-old, all he do is stay in his room. We rarely sit out here together. And so when she was here, she had my room, he's in his room, and I have the front room and the dining room and the kitchen. So I guess just try to find something that you both like to do, because too often than not, our ages and our interests separate us. And children at a certain age, they want to be attached to a screen or talking to their friends. And so I say enjoy each other as often as you can. Find something that you guys both like. Like, with my daughter, taking her to her games and taking her to practice is kind of a way we interact outside of just, being separated like that. And that's just natural. If you think about when you was a child, I know when I was one, like when I had cable back in the in the 70s, I had cable in my room. I had a color TV and cable in my room, music, 8-track tape. So find something in common that you both, get to spend some time together. I say that's the advice. Now, on a personal advice, that young age is so hard because you change so much in a short amount of time. I mean, you really do. And so I guess, my other advice would be, don't be in no hurry. Like, so many young people think it's such a hurry to grow up and grow up quickly. And you kind of waste. And it's like it stops you from being present in a way. And so just enjoy being young. I mean, I know the world is crazy now, but enjoy being young the best you can. And find joy. Find joy in something. I don't know. I don't know if Carcino really do the fixed. You can check him out, though. I don't really listen to him like that. Because the problem, I'll tell you the problem I have with Carcino. Like I was shooting questions like he talking about he played and he was just as good a hooper. But I'm like, what leagues did you play in Chicago? Because I played in some of them leagues in Chicago and he never really had an answer like where he played at, where he developed his game. The guys in his crew that played, I mean, he really never say nothing that. He just say how good he was. Well, so, but you know, no hate on him. It's just we do different things, I think. I'm walking with my phone in my pocket. I accidentally just timed out or hitting people. Oh, okay. I don't see it. Um, how about spiritual advice or Stone? She is starting to take interest. Um, yeah, the Stones is like, I guess the steps is how do you bring in the Stones? I guess that's the start there. Like with the Stones, do you feel anything from them? Do you resonate with them at all? Like, can you hold it and will it get warm in your hand? I guess that's one part. The other part is talk to the inner you. I mean, really talk to what's inner inside of you. That's like they say that you try to find the God in you. And so know your voice. That's the biggest thing before you get too old and get attachments and start hearing all these other voices. Know your voice because that's the God in you. Recognize your voice. When you're sitting there quiet, know which voice is yours. And that'll help you as you get older. It'll help your spirituality, but it'll help keep a clear mind too. And so it's nothing to force, but you have to find how the source comes out in you. You know, even as a young person, as I said, when I was 4 years old, I had the premonition of seeing my great grandmother die. And she didn't die for another 5, 6 years, but I saw it as a 5-year-old. So spirituality, there's no age on it. So it can come to you anytime. And so just find out, like see what you love in nature. But that's the biggest thing I'll say is know your voice. Know your voice. Because so often we're influenced by so many different things where so many other voices come in. So know your voice, I would say. As far as a spiritual start. Oh, that's okay, Jody. Jody ain't playing. Yeah, I didn't even see it where anybody got timed out. Oh, Ryan and Hugh. Okay, I didn't even see that. Well, they'll come back in 5 minutes. But yeah, Crazy Sarge, that's it. You know, with the stones, see if they get warm in your hands, see what you feel, see if you get anything. Like I got some quartz today, and I rarely work with quartz, but I work with some quartz, and it was like it hit me with a shout of energy. It's like I wasn't anticipating. It was a nice little joke. So, but yeah, listen to your inner voice, and that's where spiritual will come from. It'll come out of your heart. And so I guess that's the best advice I could give you. And it's not all about studying too. It's like I guess a little study could go into it, but just see what your spiritual interests are. There's a lot, and I guess that's where the study comes in. You can look at different things and see which kind of different things resonates with you, like the Wiccan thing. I mean, it's a whole lot of ways to be spiritual. There's no really one way. It's a whole lot of ways, and so you find that one way or you find the way that works for you. And then that's where you take it from there. Hope that's enough. I hope that's enough. I mean, it's not any like really one thing I could say. It's just so many different things. But I guess that's the where I would start. And I say that with everybody, you know, be present. One thing the witch would say, you know, as you think about things, you put a lot of things in the future. If you put too much interest into one thing and you keep pushing it in the future, keep pushing in the future, keep pushing in the future, because when we get bored or when we drive, we don't want to be present. And what you have to understand is that being present is the way that you really beat this system, because we got a system that wants you to live in illusion. Like I talk about the mirror being the illusion world, but we have a system that wants you to be more an illusion than to appreciate what's now. I mean, that's why they show you all the different cars. That's why they have a thing where, you know, all the people want to show they different cars, they different houses. So they want you pining for that. They want you to want that. They want you to imagine if you had that. But if it takes away from you being present, you keep pushing it in the future. And it's too easy. Like, one thing about meditating that a lot of people, and it's not really a trap, it's kind of a natural thing. But one thing that the illusion will do, if you're not creating illusion, if you're just trying to sit and be quiet, the illusion will start bringing up past memories. It'll be like, well, I can't get you, you know, to push stuff out in the future. So what I'll start doing to you is making you look at the past and try to, you know, recreate it in some ways. So, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. No problem. It's kind of hard, especially for young, to really trigger a thing or say, you know, one thing. It's kind of hard. But just to be the best person you could be. You know, love really trumps all, because love is supreme. No doubt about that. Love is supreme. And that's really the vibration we're supposed to all be in. And that's one thing the witch got right. You know, love or above. Sure enough. That's the vibration we're supposed to hold. And that's part of being present. It's like Tim Frick would say, you know, that's what lucid living is. Really what it is you being present. Through being present, you are the one that's watching the scenes. And you pay attention to all the details. And I don't want to say accept, but you adapt to your situation. You adapt to your situation. And by being present, you enjoy the moment. And through the moments, you know, that's all we have is moments. And so you try to make each one of your moments out of the most love you can, however task you get into. And we try to build from that. It's like I mean, I know it's kind of a hard concept, because when Tim Fricks gets into, you know, loving everything, that's a hard concept, because it doesn't mean, you know, what is it? The other word, amore, it doesn't mean like that kind of romantic love. It means loving the moment. It means loving everything that you're kind of doing. Yeah, really does. From the simple walk. Now, I know that's a hard concept for trying to apply work and a living, but it's like you go into all of it with lovingness. And I know that sounds corny to say, well, you know, I go to the job, I don't really like this job, but it's not about liking the job. It's about loving the moment. And this is what you're doing in the moment. And if the job gives you a function, you look at that function not in frustration. You look at it in love, as this is what I'm doing right now with my time. This is the commitment I've made. And since I've made this commitment, even though it may be boring, I don't really like it, I'm going to go into it with love, because that's the vibration I want to hold. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it takes away my vibration. As I've just mentioned, you adapt, but you keep your focus the same. I mean, we don't live in a world of times right now where we're going to love everything, but we love the moment. And you love your condition. And it's like, what you have is enough. Not saying that we shouldn't always strive for other things. And other thing doesn't necessarily mean material things. It's, you know, things that make your life easier, better. Sure, we should all strive for those kind of things. I'm not saying taking that away. Not at all. But too often we get caught into not even enjoying life. I mean, like, you know, when they say people had a stank face, it's like you can see that people don't even enjoy life. Like, some people, I've met people, their job is how they identify themselves, by what they do. And I've known people that have done that ain't rich folks, but they identify so much with that job that if it was ever taken away, their identity is taken away. Like I used to see that with cops all the time. I knew one guy that just was a very not very aggressive dude, but all of a sudden he and didn't really drink. And then he's a cop, he's drinking hard, aggressive, but that really wasn't his nature. So the job shouldn't really change your nature. And I remember I sat there with him and I was about to smack his ass. And I was like, this badge made you tough. I always been tough. I need this to be tough. I said, but you needed this to be tough. He needed to hear that shit. Uh, Being present in the moment. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Lorenzo, my issue with Valentine's Day, just like other holidays, why we need one special day to do something that we should do every day. Yeah. Yeah. And then it goes back into some pagan shit that they just stamp some shit on and then put a twist to it. Let me tell you another twist. And this is where they be lying about history. You look at who founded Rome. What is it? Romulus and what is his name? I don't even know if I wrote the other name. Romulus and Remus, I think, are their names. That ain't nothing but a copy of the Hero Twins. That is all it is. It's like telling you that this is where they lied about America. You hear that story, and then the she-wolf, and then it comes from the God. I mean, it ain't nothing but a copy of the Hero Twins, and it's put into European lore. It's just like Venice. I do not think Venice was built until after they saw Tudacanton or Mexico City. When they saw that, they went and built that over in Italy. They went and built that because I don't think they knew how to do it. And they'll try and see that's the only part I agree about when they talk about mud flood. I know the mud flood baseline is Aryan shit, but when they talk about how they've lied about history in the way history was done, this is where we catch them. But yeah, Valentine's Day, Rome, yeah. But Venice specifically, I think this is where. Is there anything more important than self-love? Not really. Not really. Not really. That's your base. That's got to be your base. Because you can't receive love. If you don't love yourself, you can't even receive love. And of course, if you don't love others, you're definitely not going to receive it. And so too often than not, if you don't love yourself, you definitely can't receive love. So you have to start as that as the baseline. As I was saying in the morning, I've watched women make their faces up, do their hair, and never really even look at themselves. I mean, I've watched my ex, they do all that stuff to their makeup, do all that stuff to their hair, get dressed, and they never really, they looked at the superficial things of themselves. But they're sitting there all that time and not really getting in touch with themselves. Because when you look in a mirror, again, it's illusion. This is what this thing tells you look like. I mean, that's part of looking in the mirror too, is realizing that a lot of this is illusionary. So this is what they say you should look like. Because if you do the I don't even know what to call it. Like you stare at your eyes in the mirror and you see your eyes disappear. You do it long enough. You stare in the mirror at your eyes, just stare at yourself, and you'll see these sockets disappear. And you start changing into something else. You do it long enough. Exercise, that's the word I'm looking for. My beard is raggedy. I play with it too much. I think that's my worst habit, but I see most men mess with their whiskers. Yeah, that's it. That's the pagan holiday. The Latin's Day. See, and so what does it mean? I mean, I don't really celebrate any of the holidays. I buy my daughter some Christmas stuff and send out Christmas gifts just as a gesture. I always felt Christmas was celebration of children, not really a celebration of what they talking about. It was a celebration of children. And this is, I mean, every day you're supposed to, if you with somebody, you're supposed to show that every day. I was watching a simp at the mall. We was at Macy's and she's looking at some shit. It was a simp. And it was like, I was just looking and I looked at how the way she was made up. I'm like, yeah, this is a simp. But, to each his own, to each his own. A lot of people saying, the time to break up is Christmas and, this time of year. Fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, Roman god of agriculture. And you know, that's when they would have the lotteries. Like, I don't know if anybody has read the short story, The Lottery, where everybody picks out of the lottery, and the person that gets the zero is the person that gets stoned. Anybody ever seen that short film? This is a short film. It was a short story, but it's a short film. Also old. This thing probably 45, 50-year-old film, but it shows everybody getting the lottery and everybody, you know, and really what it was a ritual, like Jody said, a ritual of agriculture where they would stone someone, you know. So, hey, B Brown, what's happening? The Golden State game, -6 versus Clippers, was a trap. Uh, they lost. Vegas still cleaning up. Shit, Vegas took all that Ram money. That's what Vegas did. Vegas took all that Ram money. And we got all these folks that was pushing them, you know. I watch hockey. That is why I'm wearing my Wild. The Wild win, and I think every time the Wild win, and I'm on the Chocolate Mountain Show, I should wear the Wild jersey. One of the rookies had a hat trick tonight. They beat Detroit. They beat Detroit. Detroit busted out 2-0, like first couple minutes, and then roared back and got a hat trick and won 5-4. Yeah, it was some point shaving because it was 5-3. And then they let them get a goal, but then it was an empty net. No, matter of fact, they scored because they was trying to rush with 6 people. So it was 6-4. And auction women from a lottery where they were sold off for the day for sex. I imagine. It's funny. That kind of thing in America has never escaped. I mean, really, like if you looked at the true way that the Spanish government conquered Mexico was when they started taking the children and the young girls. That's one of the biggest things. And then, like, really, if you study what was the Spanish did to Mexico, you see the same thing done to the Americas almost 100 years later. I mean, if you really study Mexico and how it was governed, you see the same thing. Jim Crow stuff was down there also. I mean, fuck, slavery in Mexico went forever. They started coming to the Americas taking people. Like once they had enslaved all the Indians down there, they started coming to the Americas taking people. And I've said this before, the Westos, you know, you catch the Westos slaving during the Revolutionary War. And the Westos, you still see them slaving in the 1820s, 1830s, almost 200 years of slaving by one Indian tribe, slaving their fellow countrymen. But that's what you see. You see the Spanish start coming into the Americas and marching people. You know, that's, you know, the march they made them do, the Walk of Death, the Trail of Tears. They did the same thing in Mexico. They would come into the Americas, steal Indians, and walk them back down to Mexico City. Good time to bring this book up. This book is called A Narrative of a Narvaez Expedition. And this was the Spanish conquistador Narvaez. He got his ass kicked in Florida. And after he got his ass kicked in Florida, he thought he could just walk to Mexico. It took him 8 years. God, how many? 500 men. When they got their ass kicked, they was down to 250. When the 8 years it took them, and I haven't read it, but just a little studying about it. The 8 years it took them to go to Mexico, 3 men survived. So that's what this little book is. This little book was about $8-9. And then the other book, this was shown on Facebook, and this is kind of a fiction, nonfiction, but Columbus and Canabo. And this is a little information on, because, you know, they don't tell you the Tano fought them back. Matter of fact, one of the queens down there on one of the side of the islands was the last to resist and fought. So the idea that the people didn't fight is not true. The people fought. So a little bit of more technology helped them. I don't know if I had anything. Nothing's really happening down in Prior Lake. police report's not really outstanding, worth reading. Thought it was something. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know why I brought it over here. Yeah. I don't know. Throw the motherfucker away. What are your thoughts about Biden giving out crack pipes? That ain't really what it said. What it said was, it just really said they was going to buy needles, and where the crack pipe comes up is it's a provision for like a type of drug kit with needles in it, and they would supply the money. They would supply the money for the drug kits, and so apparently at first the drug kits had the little straight shooters, they call them. You know, the little roses used to be in them and shit, and you put and it gave provisions. Well, I think that was added later by the media, but then they were saying they was even going to pay for the copper or whatever, you know, they filled the pipes with. So, yeah, he didn't really. That's not really what the provision says, but that's the way the media is pushing it. But like, even though Pennsylvania had passed where they was going to put a drug house up, or a shooting gallery, a legal shooting gallery. Obama shut it down. Now, I think they're doing it in New York, though. I think they are doing it. And like here, most of the patrol cars, almost 90%, I would say almost 99% of the patrol state cars, the city, all of them carry the narcon. So, because crystal meth is so prevalent. We are in war times right now, really, since even before that. I mean, when really ain't they been at war with the people? That's what the people don't understand. I mean, like Kent State is a great example of the psyop they put against people. We were at the point where the college students were taking over. The young were taking over the country. And as I've said many times before, what you have to remember those times was, you know, we had troops in Germany. We had troops in Korea. So the military was spread out. I mean, it was Cold War, so it's substantial numbers of troops in Europe. I think Nick Taylor talks about still being a Cold Warrior stationed, was it West Germany and patrolling East Germany. So the war, so they were spread so thin that in this country they created the Black Panthers, they infiltrated the hippie movement, and so they have always been at war with us. I mean, I'll repeat this again. World War I, the reason why you saw the flu created in America in Kansas was created to kill them people, so the soldiers coming back wouldn't rebel against the country. You have 1 million killers. And then we do see them rebelling because in the 1920s, they wanted their pension money. And they went and camped in front of the White House or camped at the park by the monuments and made a shanty town. And their same officer, MacArthur, later World War II MacArthur, that was also with some of them in World War I. He went in there and shooting at them and beat them up out of there. So we've always been at war, and people just don't realize it. I believe the Super Bowl is fixed. Don't believe, no it is. Don't believe it, no it is. I know it's fixed. They've always been fixed. Like I was saying yesterday, you know, you can't play on an ice-covered field, and one team gets tennis shoes, and I'll clarify, 10 players got tennis shoes on the other team, on one team. So I don't know why the 11th didn't get them, but that shouldn't be fair. If you start the game in some equipment, you should have to do the equipment. Not to say you can't adjust your cleats, but you can't have one side wearing cleats and the other side. I mean, that's the way to fix it. So that's how, that's kind of how they fix it. So, yeah, it's always been like that. But so are the elections. You know, we don't vote for people. I mean, the only thing you vote for is county and city, maybe state, but it's so crooked you can't even trust that. You can't even trust that. So those are the times. And that's how the system's always been made. It's always been made like that. And all we can do is adapt and adjust and find our ways and finding ways to cope and adjust the best you can, and to find joy in what you do. Study death so you don't fear it. I mean, that's the biggest thing they hold over your head is the fear of death. And once you don't fear death, you've conquered this reality. Once you accept it and understand that everything, it's a natural way. They fear death. They want to live forever on this plane. They want this plane. As spiritual beings, we should want to move on. It's nothing to fear. It's like we've done our purpose here, and whenever it's time to leave, we accept that. So for them to spout youth so much, you see that they don't want to let go of this. They want this long and forever. As I was saying, the guy in Cambodia is talking about he was 130 years old. He looked trapped. He looked trapped in his skin. I mean, if you looked at his just the way he was looking, he was getting geeked too. He's smoking opium, but I mean, you could see in a way, I could just read that he was trapped. Now, I don't know why he got trapped, but they've turned the basket off for Steph after breaking the record. He's shooting 36 from the three. Yeah, CJ, I saw that. It's just a shaming thing. That's all. It's just a shaming ritual. Keep in mind when they need him, if they want to put him back on stage, remember they kind of shelved, he got hurt, and then they kind of shelved him to kind of build up a few other people, especially Giannis, to kind of build up Giannis too. Because you can't have, Steph shining when you're trying to get Luka, Giannis to shine. And so that's kind of how they rig it. That's how they rig it. Like I said, Trae Young didn't understand early in his college career, his first 4 or 5 games is what determined his pro career, because the basket was turned on for him. He was shooting all crazy. But then they only gave him 5 games of his college career, and then they turned the basket off. And he played terrible because he didn't adjust his game, realizing that, the basket's turned off. But he had to push into LeBron, and, they get better. Once you get in the league, you get better. Really. You practice against good people every day. It makes you better. And yes, again, it's scripted. And as I said before, we have so many people that identify with sports, in their sports scenes more than they identify with life. Super Bowl was a big ritual, big rig and a ritual. It's our biggest and most evilest ritual of the year. There's nothing eviler than Super Bowl. Now I'll say this: not as many deaths, but I don't know the 9 people that got killed in LA. I attribute that to the Super Bowl. Not as many deaths, not as many celebrity deaths. I think I've only got Bill Finch and one other one, other than those 9 that got killed in LA. I'm pretty sure that was part of the ritual. That's why when Zach and them was talking about the damn animals being, I'm like, yeah, they don't want that kind of blood. Remember what the vampire said? He was tired of eating rats. Yeah, so they don't need the animals. They don't need the animals for ritual at all. A gorilla and a damn tiger, they don't need that kind of ritual. I think that was in a lot of ways distractions, trying to justify what they had picked. Yeah. Brother Zach wasn't sounding too enthusiastic earlier, but that's all right. We all just do the best we can do. I just be fucking with them. I ain't knocking nobody. You do it the way you do it, see, and you kind of use a little bit of everybody. But yeah, what we saw was, even though the music was good and everything, it was ritual in that. They was talking about Eminem bent down for Kaepernick, not with the hood down like that. That was straight for Yabatha. That was straight for Samuel Baal Marduk. That's what he bent down for, with his hood over his head like that. He was looking like one of them monks, one of them negative monks. He ain't had nothing to do with Kaepernick. But see, that's the way they could sugarcoat it. Oh, he was just no. He's bound to that evilness. He is bound to that evilness. To let people know the current state in the world. Well, some ways they do, but it's a big distraction too. Like they still doing the wag the dog. Russia's gonna go in anytime. Russia's gonna wait till after the Olympics. I mean, why do we give a fuck? Like, what doesn't make sense is we don't get our gas from Russia. We produce enough in America, which that's the lie. I mean, they invented the shit here. They found that the shit will never run out, but they went around the rest of the world. Now they want to tell you that we depend on them. I saw gas here. I paid this morning. I paid $3.29. The place closest to me was $3.49, and it wasn't even the casino. It's like the last time I went to casino was $3.21. Now, of course, you know, Costco and Sam's Club gonna be a little less, but yeah. So, you know, they got wagged the dog going because they don't know what can help Biden. So the war always helps Warhawks. And so that's why they talking. Okay, you really think they want to lose all that money? Biden helped them turn that gas pipeline on, helped them conclude it. So now they want to lose money. Yeah. So nowadays it looks like fear is getting the best of love. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's still like right now, they dropped all the mask mandates for the schools. Before, you couldn't go into school without a mask. They dropped that shit. And you're still seeing people wearing masks. The stores have pulled the paperwork. All the paperwork's pulled down everywhere. You don't have to wear masks. But what do you still see? You still see people conditioned. People are still conditioned. I mean, people didn't question any of this. As this craziness took over, people didn't question it. 2 weeks, everybody wearing masks. I think taking pictures with masks is the stupidest shit that people ever thought of. Like, why would a person show two things? Individualized masks that say some shit on it or got some goddamn print. That was mental illness. That was straight mental illness. When you saw people with masks with shit on them, like my college got the shit, A&T. That's mental illness. That shows you full conditioning. They're trying to make something individualized that's taking away individuality. Do you see the craziness in that? I'm going to say that again. They try to make you individualize something that is meant to take away your individuality. Damn, now, man, give myself some. That was some deep shit I gave y'all. I got to dance. It's the only dance I know. But I can, I can bus stop it. I can go all around the room, not just one spot. But yeah, that's the only move I know. These white buildings they had out there was the plaza Nipsey owned, wasn't it? I don't think he owned the plaza. I think he just owned the store. Another dude owned the store, technically. They want to knock that down for the freeway to get to SoFi, which they did before. They isolated the colored folks before by building a highway. Because a lot of the cities, the highways be the boundaries between, the hood and the rest of the city. What's up, Hugo? They completed their mission getting that stuff in the peoples. They say you don't need them. And shop mandates is the mocking is sad. Yeah. They're gonna get rid of all that shit. They're gonna get rid of all that shit. Yeah, because that's Slauson and Bunchy Carter. I see Slauson to make me think of the hero Bunchy Carter that was a real Black Panther. I mean, they killed all the real Black Panthers. You notice that Bobby Seale and Huey Newton. That's why really talking about that. Snowfall is coming on. Huey Newton should be in Snowfall because Huey Newton was robbing the shit out of Freeway Rick's houses. He became a vulture, and he's working with the government still. That's why he got killed. But they strung him out. He was a chain smoker. So do you think he would get hooked on cocaine? Motherfucker smoke one cigarette after the other. As soon as one go out, he light another. He was a chain smoker. That's why I don't know if people remember was it the HBO? The guy from one of Spike Lee's guys, the light-skinned dude that played in Do the Right Thing. I think he played, a handicapped person. That dude did a one-man show of Huey Newton, which was pretty telling about him. What's your thoughts on the city lights having a purple hue now? Well, it's kind of like that here with Prince. Lights like our downtown lights are always purple. Um, I don't know. I guess I haven't given much thought to it because it's so much here. It's so much purple lights here. Guess I hadn't had time to think it's anything else other than the Prince kind of thing. Because our downtown lights, they just rebuilt that shit and it's purple all the time for Prince. You know, Prince didn't live too far from here. Hey, the Lost Rose, how are you? This is an Natural Queen second account. Okay. Natural Queen second account. Okay. I'll have to sub to you. So I'll look over it again, make sure I sub to you. How have you been? Thank you for joining. So nice of you. So I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research. But you can see the lights. It's like, do you know, like they just said they started 5G. They told you 5G started about 15, 16 months ago. But 2 weeks ago, they just told you they turned 5G on. Now, which one is it? Was it a year and a half ago? Or is it now? 2 weeks ago? My brother and I were talking about that. Like, what is it? You said you've been turned on 5G. Now you're telling us that it's just got turned on 2 weeks ago. So make sense of that. So it's like you can't believe too much of what they say. Drat. Oh, might have to do this. Cause change mics. Yeah, it looks like the mic is still on. Had to change mics. My other mic is dying. So pretty sure you can still hear me. Like what the some shit happened yesterday, but I know what it is. I don't do the settings right and stuff. You know, Richard Pryor said it best. It's hard enough just to be a human being. And you got all this thrown at you. It's just hard enough to be a human being. But I guess, like, what would be your thoughts? What did the dude say in The Matrix? He made the perfect Matrix and the people didn't like it. What do you think of that? That's the same inference they give you. Like Moses goes up to get the tablets and the people aren't satisfied, and Moses then showed them all these miracles. So they gotta make something that they can see. They need to see their God. And that's kind of the same thing, you know. They gave you something perfect, but it wasn't enough. That's what he's trying to tell you. They gave you perfect times and saying people didn't live to each other. What they call the perfect times is really Lemuria. Like you do any studying of Lemuria, you find that it's the one time that it was harmony with everything. I mean, that's what you find in the studies. Like everything got along. You know, when they talk about Dr. Doolittle being able to speak and understand what the animals are saying, understanding what the plants and the trees are saying. Did I write this down? I wrote it somewhere. Let me see where I wrote this. I don't know where I built it. Yeah, I'll find it. It's in here somewhere. But it had something to do with the trees. Don't see where I put it. So that's like if you looked at what would have been a perfect society, would have been that. And then some kind of way that didn't last. Is America losing the superpower status? I guess to say, do you have the superpower status? Man, like, do the people have superpower status, or what are we talking about? We talking about financial? We talking about military? Because when they try to tell you the second biggest military, no. We outspend everybody by far. We have more ships. We have more tanks. I mean, it's not even close. American has been such a killing machine that it's like triple what everybody else got. Like I've mentioned this before, studying the impact of America fighting China. and us not being able to build back as quickly. So whatever we destroyed of theirs and whatever they destroyed of us, they're saying that they could build back quicker than we could. But they could like destroy half the shit, and if they couldn't sustain us destroying half of their shit. So what's superpower status? Like, what is that to us, the common people? We talk military, we talk financial. So can China, I mean, like right now, I think Toyota sells the most cars. And this is allowed when they start allowing foreign cars to come in. And then the American companies didn't adapt. American companies was made for your car to break down every 4 years. So you buy another one. So that's when in the 1960s, that's when you see the Japanese cars coming in and saying, okay, you ain't got to buy cars every 4 years. That's why some of the best made cars, and you still see these cars, like my truck got 212,000 miles on it. You look at a period from 2000 to about 2010, you see some of the best American cars ever made, because they were to the point where they really had to compete with these other cars and quit making shitty cars that broke down. So you see where these cars is like almost made to last. I mean, you look at a car in the 70s, 50,000 miles, 100,000 miles was considered shot. I mean, it really was. 100,000 miles used to be considered that the car had no value. Now you seeing cars with 100,000 miles on it, they still wanting, depending on the year, high money for them. Do you have a preferred website? I don't really have a preferred website. Gosh, I wish I knew Christina's stuff. Remind me tomorrow, or remind me when I do the daddy hour. The Lost Road. Oh yeah. Remind me tomorrow. Like, and I don't get anything from this, but he has like a lot of crystals that are cheap. And this is Robert Simmons, and their thing is, gosh, I used to know it by heart. Let me see if they have their shop, because I can't remember the name of their stuff. So no, I rarely buy crystals in town. I really don't have to order crystals anymore. Can't think of the name of the shop. I have to look it up for you. But they have a shop. But I have crystals in town, and right now I really don't have a great need. I do get some crystals for eBay every now and then. I'll say that. So, but you have to remind me again, and I'll write Christina's stuff down, because Christina has a smaller shop, but she has like the sea moss and all that kind of stuff too. So I have to give you her stuff, and it's probably pretty affordable too. Is America? China's definitely gaining more and more power, but this is where you got to even question that. Look at where everything is made. Where do our junk come from? Our junk comes from China. Who let that happen? Not only did they take away America making these cheaper products, they took it away from Japan. Because when I grew up, everything was made in Japan as they rebuilt Japan. It's the same replay. In the 60s, 70s, everything was built in Japan. You get this little junk we get now. But going back further, it used to be all made in America. All the junk used to be made in America. So who gave that to China? Do you see how when Nixon went to them in 72, and now they're making all our junk? So you got to even look at that as not being, that wasn't organic. China did not get that in an organic way. A couple of weeks ago, the World Economic Forum was talking about mind control using sound waves. Yeah, well, the sound wave weapons that Hitler's scientists invented. They split the stuff, but Americans got most of them. I think Jody talks about Operation Paperclip. Americans got most of them. They got all the rocket builders. That's why the space race wasn't no space race. They was cooperating with each other. Oh, Lemurian, whoops, sorry. Lemurian crystals, uh, Lemuria, Crystal City, Shasta, and the healing sounds and vibrations. Yeah. But I get most of my crystals. Like Shyrite, I did find some here. The piece I carry, I found here, but my harmonizer I had to get from Russia. And non-natural monitoring. Yep. That makes perfect sense too. Americans have just caught up. It's like now, like you look at a car like Land Rover, why would you want that car now? That car is owned by a company that creates terrible cars, one of the Indian companies. The same thing with Chrysler now owned by what is it? Peugeot. They companies that make crappy cars that own Jeep now. I mean, the only good thing they had going was them Hemi engines. You know, it take 5 years to build a car, and them companies now is in their 5 years. I think they've owned that. Fiat. Them cars wasn't no good cars. None of them cars that the Fiat brought, Maseratis, it was a whole umbrella that was under Fiat. Peugeots, I think, but they make crappy cars. So what do you think they're gonna make now? So you get that Jeep truck. How you think that one's gonna really do when it's a history of companies? Maybe this is a crystal source Jody found. Oh, and I want to show y'all. Let me see if it's in the front. How is it? Might be in the back. Yeah. I don't even know if I can show this. But that's right there. This is a real hockey jersey, and that's how they hook the pants to the jerseys. I got this one cheap because the player got traded. I don't care nothing about that. I like their green jerseys with the M's on the collars. Can you tell the difference between human and non-human? Yeah, I talked about that last night. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different kinds too. I don't. I mean, I've wrongly said aliens, and that's wrong because that's what we've been taught, but don't necessarily mean they aliens. I mean, how do I know they wasn't born here? I'm probably wrong about that. Or how don't I know even like a different dimension, a different vibration? There's so many different ways that non-humans can come here, and it appears like they've been here too. So it's like, when do you want to pick up in history? I guess would be like, when do you and crazy? When do you pick up from history, and where was the classification between non-humans and humans? Because we're taught, and even my brainwashing of taught that these people I see that are definitely different. And it's almost like Resident Alien, where the children can see the alien. It was almost like that with me. I could see that these were different types of humanoids. And so my thinking, even in my brainwashing, is these are aliens. But really, who am I to judge that? Now, yes, I sense that they are not like normal people. Yes. I've showed the picture. You got to go back and look at the picture I showed of one now. He was a couple. And so I can tell the difference. Here's a video that I did a USC Davis on Elon Neuralink on monkeys and animals and humans. Yeah, I think I watched that, Josie. Hey, Jay, thank you for joining. Very kind words. Thank you. I'll send you some bread one day to get me one of them wild fitted. Oh, I got to go get a red one. They ain't been having the red one, so I need to go out to the Mall of America. They usually, because there's 2 or 3 lids at the Mall of America. There's one on every floor, but it's a big one. Like the outlet, maybe that's what I'll do. Just go to the outlet. But yeah, hit me up. Let me know. Give me your hat size, because I want the red one. And I've been wanting the red ones, and really I wanted the North Star one too, because I want to get the North Star jerseys, which is green and gold kind of thing. Let's see. I swear the Raiders owner Mark Davis looked like a non-human. Yeah, he does. Yes, he definitely does. But he wears that silly, like, here's a man with all the money. Well, not really. He ain't really strapped like that. He's one of the poor owners, which if that's such a cause. But yeah, he looks ridiculous and very well could be. What do you think about the metaverse? I don't know if people remember a few years ago when it was supposed to be a dude from the future, and he's blubbering, crying, saying that his friend went into what he thought was a illusionary world or the metaverse, and his friend was locked in it, and so he was able to come back, but his friend was locked in it. I mean, again, what is it? A player one? I mean, they want you to think that this life out here is so terrible, and see, that ain't being present at all. They want you to be present in that world. Already you can buy houses and shit and cars, and they want you to be present in that world. And they don't care, they don't want you to care what happens now in your present. And so that takes away from you being present, because you're not. It's like you have to find joy in a fake illusion. You have to get relationships in an illusion. I mean, that's one thing the mask did. The mask took away them interpersonal relationships. They locked you in a corner for almost a year. So that made people scared of people. So of course you want to run into it. If you are a not together person and you got the money to present yourself as the together in the metaverse because you had the money to do it, do you see how some would benefit from that? Because you can make yourself with no flaws in that. It's like I'll talk about the mirror and the illusionary, the mirror in 2D. Part of the flat plane, that 2D illusionary world. It's like they're bringing that illusionary 2D stuff. It's kind of the same concept. Hadn't thought about that before, but it really is. It's kind of the same concept. Takes you away from your present, takes you away from now, takes you away from the moment. Because your moment comes from that. So it's like that's what the world has come to. You can't be rich here, and you can pay a little money to be rich there. 77 teammate from Spry Prep. No, I didn't. No, maybe I didn't read the article. Maybe I did. Maybe I did see that. The Mellow 77 teammate. Wow. Them cats be like you even look at Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren's built like Porzingis. It's like they're all upper body and legs. I mean, it's really the oddest kind of torso. And I even look at him as kind of like, I look at Chet Holmgren even as being something a little different. Just he's almost worm looking because it's so much. I mean, it's not a lot of torso there. It's like he's mostly legs and stomach. I mean, it's just weird the way he's built. But they've had super tall dudes like that before. I read a fiction book years ago about a dude damn near 8 foot tall. How he got mad in one game and he dunked the person. He picked the dude up and shoved him through the hoop because he got mad. And the dude was like 8 foot. I remember I let the coach read the book and he never gave it back to me. My high school coach. Like, let me read that book. Never saw it again. It was a fiction book too. Wasn't real sports. It was fiction. Got to remember where I to put the damn batteries for this thing. Oh, must be here. Okay. Must be there. Look up, researcher says Robert Bobzik from Romania. Okay. I'll check that out. No problem with checking out the world. How long? Oh wow, an hour already. Wow, I ain't really got nothing to do tomorrow. But I guess I come by here and I like it. I guess when I come, I don't really have one thing to talk about because it's so many different things. There are some times I have one thing to talk about, like talking about the sports. Other times it's just where the inspiration kind of leads to. And it's good to have the questions. That's always great. But it's like it's so, and I know that the information is like, well, 1 minute you're saying, be grounded. The next minute you're saying you have your knowing, and then you're saying be present. I know that's a lot to understand, but it's just like simple things that are free and that come from you. It's like it's the God in you. That's what you have to find, is the God in you. It's the same thing with love. They can't tell you that God ain't in you or the good ain't in you, but then they saying that the love ain't in you. It's all you. You are the God man. And you do miracles. I mean, all of us. We're also very magical beings, so we all can do miracles. It's just we don't. A lot of times we expect an abracadabra miracle. You should always listen to your heart. Are there any circumstances where you should follow your brain? Well, some of that has to be kind of, you go on instinct, intuition. So, I mean, all that should work together. All that should work together. So if you got the, little twins on your shoulders, you kind of see what they say. That's why you got to have them balanced. If you got them on your shoulders, they should be balanced. It's not good or bad. It's like, the twins, your twin. It's like that's who's on your shoulders, your twins. That's why they always show when you see them. It's not as much on new TV as used to be on old TV, but that's why it would always be twins. It would be the person's twin. You understand? That's your twin. So you got equal twins. It ain't good and bad. You got balanced twins. Now, if you believe in the good and bad, or that's how you live, then of course you're gonna have unbalanced twins that's fighting each other to gain you. But the proper way is you love your twin, you love your brother, you love yourself, and so your twins are on your shoulders balanced, no good or bad, balanced. So when they pop out. They both got the logical mind. That's all. So that's a way you could go at it. So all that should play. Sometimes you get that feeling in your gut. Like they go, my gut feeling tells me no. Or my gut feeling is saying be aware. It's like the spider's senses. That's the metaphor. It's like the spider senses. Sometimes you get that feeling there's something wrong in your stomach. And so that's part of how you look at situations. If something's saying that it's a problem or the outcome ain't gonna benefit you, might need to walk away from it. So that's why the idea, of the doubting Thomas, and the idea that even Jesus had a twin. I mean, they put it everywhere. But they always want them to have conflict, not work together. They want that conflict. That's why the good, they give you the same being. They give you Yabatha, but then they tell you the shadow side of Yabatha you're supposed to be scared of. But they just repackage it different. But it's just the same Marduk, if whatever you want to call it, Baal, Samuel, whatever you want to call it. They give you the good of it, and then they say, well, the shadow is a different name, and it's a different something else. I mean, it's just one and the same. I mean, you can't get anything. The Bible tell you is one and the same. But it's just packaged differently. Something to fear. All this occult stuff around the world, they've used that too. I mean, they've used that to advance themselves 50 to 100 years or more ahead of everybody else. And the way they release this stuff. Like Dick Tracy, and I mean, you'd probably have to look that up, but it was a cartoon in the 20s that talked about a dude with a watch, you know, a watch phone, watch TV, watch FaceTime. That's an idea from like the 20s. And then we get the Jetsons as a mocking. The Jetsons ain't nothing but the opposite of the Flintstones. Actually, the Flintstones was created for the honeymooners. If y'all remember, you know, Jackie Gleason, look up Jackie Gleason in the TV show The Honeymooners. The Flintstones was a cartoon version of Jackie Gleason character in The Honeymooners. But we see how the stuff doesn't just come from somebody's imagination. FaceTime, working out in your house, all this, you know, this is, as I said before, they said in the Alexandria Library, the book not only told the past, the book told the future. You had books where you could go study the future. That's where you know it's a lie, where they say you can't, if you could change, you couldn't change the future. This thing would adapt to you being there. It would totally adjust to you being there. If you were in the future, it would adapt to you being there. So whatever you change, that's why that butterfly shit is lied. You know, the old dinosaur story, you know, you stepped on a bug and you come back, Hitler won. That's all bullshit. Butterfly effect, all that shit is bullshit. The system will adapt if you go back. Because if you go back, you have been there, is the point. And I know that may be a hard concept, but that is the concept. The system would adjust. So you could, I mean, what is the Jesus story? You know, where Jesus gets married and has children, gets off the cross. And even though it was not organic because he had a negative influence, you know, the little shiny face telling him, the little angel faces telling him, you know, no, you're not the one. You can't have somebody external tell you you're not the one. That was what in the Matrix, that's what the female was trying to tell him. I can't make you be the one. If you can't be the one, I can't make you be the one. You are already the one. That was the whole point she was trying to tell him. You are already the one. You don't need me to tell you. Hey, there he is, Conspiracy University. Another person you should check out his work. Just getting in, okay. You should subscribe to him. He makes some good things. He puts out some good information. There's several people like Jody. Jody puts out videos. She'll send them to me too, but I watch them. Usually I listen to people when, oh, there he is, the Macbone Files. What's happening? The great Black Jaguar be upon you. Thank you. That's very kind. Hey, Sean. That's why I love this little thing. I mean, it's the Omen. I love that thing. Just to bring more of that energy in, you know, some jewelry to bring that energy in. I live this stuff too. You know, this stuff, I live this stuff. This is where my face is. I was going to do a divination again tonight, but I left the cards on the table. Forgot to bring them over, but I've been loving the stuff. Like I said earlier, I had a vision. I had that hawk vision earlier, and that's, I mean, she legit is cool. It helps with getting clear visions. It definitely does. It definitely, and it stays in your system for a minute. If you run out, it's still kind of month or so. It's still in your system to give you that clear vision too. As I was saying earlier, I mean, when you break through, it is like there's another blue world. That's the only way I can describe it. When you break through this and you're looking at this other blue world and you're like, well, what is this? If I'm meditating and I'm going to my Zar body, my astral body, and I'm coming to another blue world, what is all this? If I break through and I'm seeing another blue sky and another sun, what does that make this? Makes you wonder what's set up. Thinking about getting a 9-karat gold necklace. Feel like I need it, as you said. It gives focus and good remembering. Oh, absolutely. I don't care what carat you get. A gold chain is going to help you with your acuity. And that's why, even with the Motivite helps with memory. I mean, doing this kind of thing, especially, like I'll forget, like I'll go into rooms and literally forget why I go into the room, and I'll be in there in a couple of minutes, and the Motivite will kick in and be like, you need to grab your chapstick, or you need to grab one of your knives. I mean, it's beneficial. I've been trying to wear both pieces more. Excuse me, because when I wear this piece, I am way brighter. I've just noticed the smaller piece is enough. I'm not saying it's not, but when I wear both together, it definitely it helps. Even if you just have a gold ring, it'll help with your acuity. Wearing gold, and I don't sell stuff, but gold helps with acuity. Like I often question why the baseball players, given the history of how the gold was taken from South America, but on the other hand, I understand the concentration it takes to be a baseball player, especially a hitter. And what I can't think of anything better than gold to help concentration. So, and that was something I learned from them, even though they're doing it fashion somewhat, but it will be a benefit for concentration and acuity. Yeah, I need to get that Motivite. Don't get Motivite from China, because they'll send you glass. I was looking at getting some equipment from China, and I really wasn't paying attention where it was coming from. And I was researching. I'm like, oh, these symbols is coming up. I don't like ordering stuff from China. I don't mind Russia, but China, no, I don't like ordering stuff from China. But yeah, don't order it from China. Robin Simmons, what is the name of their store? Yeah, I'm old man tonight, y'all. I can't think of it. That's why all those, I mean, that's to me that's the interpretation I'm getting out of it. I mean, yes, it's a fashion, but also I can see the benefit, because it'll help with clarity. Definitely will help with clarity. Glass Motivite. Yeah, they be selling shit. The Chinese be selling some red shit and some blue shit, talking about this is Motivite. Red and blue shit, talking about this is Motivite. Motivite don't come in them colors. And then, like, most glass, if you put a flashlight to it, it's going to light up. Glass is going to light up, but Motivite is translucent. It ain't glass. So, I mean, you can kind of see, I don't know if I can get in light, but you can kind of see the striations. And they even you can see the mold markings when you see glass compared to these natural ways of being in an explosion. And I'm not going to say that it'll help everybody, because maybe you don't resonate. Some people don't resonate with crystals, so it's not for everybody. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's just you have to find a different way. That's all. Them Jamaican runners wear gold a lot too. It's like a super gym for training. I think so. I would say so, because I mean, this is the thing. This is the good thing about it. Won't tarnish. Won't tarnish. You can sweat. You can take showers. You can swim in it. Won't tarnish. I mean, you can get you take showers. You'll get that. You wear gold and you'll get that soap scum. You put soap on you. The gold to get soapy, but I mean, you see supposedly like when they grave rob, that gold be like, as soon as they clean the gold up, it shines like it's brand new. Yeah. And I could even see, a track and field person that needs all that concentration. I mean, healthy mind, your acuity is going to help everything. Concentration. And it's the one gem that mentally helps you. Like silver and copper physically will help you. Gold is the one thing that'll mentally help you. And so now the copycat gold that you see, again, it's like, remember how they was trying to push everybody one time for platinum. You see how, and then, but what that did is it sold a lot of silver, because you could buy silver and it's not a big difference. I mean, platinum has a little more sheen, silver dulls, but remember how they was pushing, and then they was trying to push everybody into getting diamond necklaces. See how they try to manipulate people? And you see all the stars, you see them with their Cuban links with all the diamonds on them and shit. You know, they want you to strive for that. But strive what you can afford, and it's enough. It is just as gold. It'll help you just as much if you're wearing a big ass anchor on your neck, or you're wearing just a little piece, little thin piece. I mean, this braided piece ain't much. I mean, this is silver, but I mean, you can get gold like this. It's going to do the same thing as a bigger piece. It's going to give you the same kind of thing. So don't have to spend that much. You don't have to spend that much. Be like Mr. T, have a fork and spoon and knife around your neck. I don't know if people remember it, because Mr. T is the one really that got people wearing gold in the 80s. It was Mr. T. Even before the rappers started wearing the cables, it was like they was emulating Mr. T. He had that shit before. Like when he was in the 70s helping Sugar Ray. He was one of Sugar Ray's bodyguards at one time. So we all get gold, we all be runners too. That's funny. Sold a lot of silver. Somebody said Nas had got the gold QB chain snatched and got a platinum chain as the new one. Come to find out it was silver. Yeah, as a matter of fact, platinum is less than gold, pretty sure. Like even back then, platinum wasn't, it traded cheaper. It was a cheaper metal. And yet they're pushing all the people to the, well, they inflated the price for a short amount of time, but overall, if you look now, it's a cheaper metal. But yeah, I sold a lot of silver. I mean, a lot of times these dudes go rent jewelry. When they know they're going to do interviews, they go rent jewelry, go rent cars, rent houses. I mean, they showed you from the cribs. They get these people and rent a house, and, you can rent a bed and breakfast and try to show, as yours. Like Method Man was one of the real ones. He had a townhouse. At least it was his. Some of these dudes showing you shit they renting just for the look of it, just to make you pine after that shit. And that's, what the song say? Just be thankful for what you got. Sunroof top, diamond in the back. What is it? Leaning in the sheen with the gangster lean. Just be thankful for what you got. And you make the moves when it's time to make moves. You look at things that you want to get up and what you want to manifest. And when it's time to manifest them, just manifest them. And even though it's close to what you try to get, be happy with that. That's kind of how it works. Be happy with what you have. You know what they say, make it work. Just make it work. Whatever you can afford, make it work. That's all. You ain't got to be like anybody else. Hell, my car is a 2005. It get around. I don't wash it, none of that. It's a truck. But it gets me around. And I walk with my head just as high as I park next to a brand new Lexus. I feel no less. I feel no less. That my videos I do, I don't lie and try to say, no, that car is a 2005 that I sit in. I live in a modest apartment. I don't lie about that. I've had more at times. I've had less at times. Not really less. But I'm joyful for what I have. I mean, this is my kingdom, so I feel good. That's a tough call, Mr. Lamborghini. That's a tough call because it's such a racket. It's kind of hard. You really got to deal with a person, kind of study, and if you get any signals, like I was saying, gut feelings about them, drop them. So you can find some that do, but it's such a business that a lot of times, like I really think that David Blaine had the ability, when people have tics, I think he really could read tics a lot of times. But a lot of people have ability to read you. Like they're really good at reading people. So they can tell you kind of what you want to hear. Now, my daughter's mother claims they talked to a psychic that's their friend, and she claims she said some stuff that kind of resonated with her that could only be told by the relatives. It was something that the woman would never know. So it's just a thing you got to be careful with. You can't let me see. You can't get addicted to that kind of thing. But to answer your question, you could. There are some that are very spiritual, and it will give you a consultation that could possibly help you on your spiritual path. Could. Not saying that's impossible. Very cool. Can using a Ouija board be demonic? I mean, is that your aim? I mean, if your aim is to bring that stuff out, then you can bring it out, but not in itself. I mean, did the company that produced it, Milton Bradley, was their idea of putting something demonic in there? Not really. Not really. Too many people say that something jumped out the board and fucked them up, and jumped back in the board. They ain't gonna sell too many of them. So, I mean, gosh, I'm meaning. Let me get the names right. The Awakened one. She did the reading and she got a new board, and it's basically the same concept, but it's a round board, but it's the same concept. She started using her crystals for the answers, and it was taking her, moving her hands to the answers. So you could get the same thing, get you a quartz crystal, order a board off Etsy or something like that, that'll do the same thing. If you think the Ouija boards are demonic, you can get a round board made out of a lot of different materials. And if you're not comfortable with the Ouija board, you could order one of them from Etsy. The same kind of setup, but round. You can get one that's square like it. So in itself, I would say no. Again, if you got to use one, I would be very leery of getting a used one because you don't know how it was used. Can people make it demonic? Of course. You can make anything pretty much demonic or shadow side or negative. You can make anything like that. So it's not one thing, that would do that. So in itself, but I wouldn't get a used one because you don't know what they've been using it for. So that would be my only hesitation. But could you get good out of it? Absolutely. I mean, it's again, what is your aim? What is your goal with it? If you want demonic shit, you can get the demonic shit out of it. That's what you want. I mean, yes, you could pull demonic shit out of it. I'll tell the whole story. Yes, they can be used for that. So, that answers your question. Yes, they can be used for that. Doesn't mean that you have to use it like that. Researcher 2022 says there are so many riches in life. Sometimes I have to remind myself to count them, not just the money and expensive items. Absolutely. I mean, we get so many little miracles that come around us, and just like the sunsets here down in Prior Lake have been more beautiful than I ever remember. I mean, the sunsets leading up to Christmas and the New Year have been more beautiful than I ever have witnessed. I mean, I live by a lake, and we may have to make a little curve to go around the lake, and the sun sets kind of behind the lake in the west, and it's like a picture. I mean, I would look, and it was like a picture was going, like a picture is just painted in the sky. And I don't ever remember the sky consecutive days being so beautiful during sunset. Little gifts like that I've noticed. And a few other people said they noticed it too, but it's like, it makes you almost think it's the end of the world, because it's like, I don't remember the sky looking as beautiful. And even though I talk about the simulator and all that, the colors that came in that 6 or 8 week period was like nothing I've ever witnessed all my life. So yes, I agree with you. I mean, it's so many little things, so many miracles happen. It's like I say, I don't know what loneliness is. I have so much to occupy me. And like, instead of just sitting in front of TV, that's why I didn't buy a new one. Because it's like, it has really no value. Once after I buy it, it has no value. Not really. And so to get sucked in, to watch it more, like my son has a $2,000 or $3,000 TV, and he'll just sit there and watch 6, 7 movies during the day. Like when he wasn't working during this bullshit, he just watched movies all day. And then he, after watching movies, he played video games on it. And he got the, surround sound, the bangs and the booms. But it's like that sucks you in more. And so that's one reason why I didn't buy another one. I got the money now to get one. I just made a nice little bit of chump change in now. Like you can get them refurbished TVs. You can get a 75-inch for what, $400 from Walmart, and you have a wall of TV. But again, that kind of thing sucks you in even further. So same with the phones. The better phone you have, the more you get sucked into it. But yeah, I'm thankful for so many little things, just like playing these singing bowls. I just get joy. This big one, this big one is one of my favorite things that I own, is this big singing bowl, because it just gives, it just gives the energy you put in it, it triples the energy back out to you. It's like you only hit something, but it does so much healing from just you tapping it. There's so much healing that comes back, and the sound goes all the way through you. You feel like every part of your body absorbs some of it, and it's just willing to give and give and give. Hey, Eternal Life, how you doing? Do you think the metaverse is a way of unveiling simulation? That's a good point, and it could be very well, except I think the aim is not to. The aim is to be locked in the metaverse. That's the aim, is to be locked into it. The Star Trek did the first issue of it. The Matrix kind of copied it, but Star Trek had a episode where they got attacked by these people. Where they come to find out, all the people was asleep, but the people could project and attack these mugs while they were asleep. But when they were able to defeat them, they went to their home world. All these people is asleep. And so the Matrix showed the same thing years later. So the lady talking about, Star Trek kind of showed the same thing. That it was operating on a, simulation. The people could live and create a hologram simulation and affect people and harm people. So that's the aim, is to make things so bad here, you can only find joy there. And there are people like that get lonely, that for one reason or another, they weren't able to get any long-lasting relationships. Whatever their circumstances, there are lonely people that make a lot of money, and they still lonely and still feel that they don't have enough. And so I know I'm like that with clothes. It's like clothes are never enough. I could always buy clothes every day. I like clothes. But I also can sit there and say, I do have enough. Like I told the story, I looked at a nice leather coat. I mean, lamb's leather. Nice leather coat, Macy's. This coat was like $600-700. It was on sale for $200. But I have 2 leather coats that I wear once a year, maybe. I wear my mink coat maybe once a year. I didn't even wear it last year. So why, even though it was a good deal, I had the money to get it, but it was like, what do I need this for? That's going to sit in my closet the majority of time, that I could never sell and get out of it even $200. I mean, maybe if I got it and put it right on, So, but yeah, I think it's part of the way. I think I wouldn't be surprised me that they even did like that mirror stuff in the metaverse. as a way to show you that flat plane. Because again, the metaverse, a lot of it, the idea of that illusionary thing is flat plane. And so technically that is and video games can be looked at the same way. That is you putting yourself in the flat plane. Now they're saying you can live and enjoy, because just like Player One shows, a lot of people, they want it to be so bad out here that is your alternative. That is your alternative to find joy, to find companionship. I mean, the movie Rocky was in, what was it, Meteor Man or whatever that movie was. The people put the headsets on and have sex. Remember, she hands him the towel. Let me keep that out. That's what they would prefer. They don't want babies born. I could care less about having a big TV. Seeing the damage it does to people, and people just become ungrounded, unaware, and unconscious most of the time. It does. It's hypnotizing. But the phones can be just as hypnotizing too. So both of them together. I mean, you got your face in the screen all the time. So you put down the phone to watch TV. And it's like my daughter's mother would say, I'd ask her, she says, because I notice everything about what I'm watching. And she was like, I watch TV to forget. I work hard. She's an accountant. She's like, I work hard all day. I don't want to think, which that's kind of brain dead, but that's what she would say. I don't want to think. And I've never felt like that. Never felt like TV makes me not want to think. I have the opposite. I'm like, I am, I guess, judging. I am paying attention. I am seeing the flaws in what they're doing. So, but that's what she would say. Makes me don't want to think. Yeah, not me. Not me. I don't get sucked into it like that. And so that's why I haven't bought one. I need to get this computer back going and pick up a camera. So I've got that to do, but I've got other things that like are more important than equipment. I mean, it's just like, so it's like, I know how to not, because when you try to manifest too much, you don't get any of it. And so if I try to manifest too much, there's certain things I need to manifest now, and more equipment ain't what I need to manifest. It doesn't mean I can't afford it, but it means how I want to put everything together and how I want to make everything happen. I want to make this happen, and then the equipment can come later. But this thing needs to happen first. Then I can work on the other things. So, to each his own. To each his own. That's all. And I agree, you can make this presentation better, but it's the message. It's the message. It's the visual. Absolutely, people don't put down the phone. Nah. Like, where was I? Where was I yesterday? Oh, I'm in the doctor's office waiting for therapy. And it was 3 of us waiting, because now they limit people and they got everybody with the chairs. It's stupid as fuck. But all of us is, I start reading, like I got books and shit, but like everybody's got their head down. And they were saying that, it's going to create a type of wing here, almost devil horn here, from being in this position. And they're showing the young people in that position. Have you watched Dark or Archive 81 yet? Those series really talk about everything. You talk about the illusion of this reality. I have not yet. Is faith and action more important than manifestation? Is faith or action more important? Well, again, I don't believe in anything So faith is a belief. You believing into something. I'll say it like this. It's like you have to have an aim. So without the aim of the arrow to get it started. So that is an action, but it's still like when you manifest, you have to have a target. And so you start aiming for that target. And yeah, I guess that is an action, but you have to put so much intention into it, more than, I would dare say, a belief, more so than even the action. Your intention really has to be about that. I mean, you really have to have the aim and the attention to be about what you're trying to manifest. That's why I'm saying, I can't manifest this and then try to manifest that and then try to manifest this. It just doesn't all work like that. So that would be just my answer, is you have to have a target and you have to have an aim for the target. And that is a type of action, but your intention really has to be with the action. I would say that's what would add to what you put is intention. And to manifest, you have to have the proper intention to manifest. And what's good about certain things that you manifest is you already know that the outcome is going to be successful. And so sometimes, how to put this? Sometimes you have a small target, but what the prize is larger than what your aim was and even your intention. And then the same way, sometimes this could be smaller. And then you just have to roll with it. You see that, you put all your energy into this and it didn't quite turn into what you wanted. Well, you have to turn around and try another way. But yeah, it's a good way you put it. But faith, yeah, that's believing. Not really into belief. I don't believe in anything. My mother's like, you don't believe in anything. You think everything is a lie. It's like the way Trump used fake news. We were saying that on Zach's channel back in 16, 17. Trump's people heard that shit. The ones that called themselves in the conscious community, that's where Trump's people got the fake news from. The conscious community had been saying that before Trump got in office. And sure enough, Trump gets credit for something that the conscious community had been talking about 2 or 3 years before. Fake news. That's why you see Zach don't even say that statement hardly anymore, because the way Trump took it. And then they have to use it. You see the news people, something that they would never mention because it makes their business look bad. Okay. Random ad pops up. So, well, I'm going about an hour, 45 minutes. I think that's enough for this evening. Don't really have a lot more. Sorry, I can't do the divination. Everything's way over there. Yeah. I was going to say I could use some of these other cards, but not really. Not really. Maybe. Let's see what this is. Yeah, it's not the right day. Technically, yeah, these are very similar. I don't have the card. The cards are over there. Yeah, because tomorrow is going to be House or Cali. And just as Cali represents your home, your life, your personal, intimate world, as opposed to your external world, social environment. The house is the temple where you keep what is most sacred for you and is the source of the renewal of your energy and strength. If your house does not fulfill these functions, that means you need to examine how you are dealing with your intimate world. When you get this, you'll be looking at your home life and at your persona as it is affected by what you are experiencing there. So that's kind of the energy that's going into tomorrow. Sorry, I couldn't tell you the color and all that. I forgot the cards. And I'm getting into more cards. I'm probably going to start doing readings, real readings. I looked at the Super Bowl halftime show as mocking to melanated people, putting us in boxes, having Eminem take a knee, bowing down to Baphomet while Dr. J plays the piano, calling him in. Can't say you wrong. Can't say you wrong. It in a way it was. I mean, the prison uniforms, and I didn't even catch it. I did not catch the prison uniforms. I did not catch that until today. My therapist was like, "Why were they dancing wearing prison uniforms?" Absolutely, I agree with you. Rigged Super Bowl Lakers next. What's your take on religion? Control. It's a way to control the masses. That's why you look at really Hinduism is not really a religion, more as it is a practice, because it's a way everybody can use it in a different way. It's no blanket how you're supposed to use it. And most religion, it's a blanket on how you use it. But they, like, you study Constantine, and you see that Constantine found out that Christianity was the best way to control people. I mean, you see very early in the Roman Catholic Church, very early, where they started being land takers. They was asking their priests to give up all their worldly goods to the church. And before you know it, the church was like some of the biggest landowners, still are some of the biggest landowners in Europe. And they base a religion on people that didn't have any money. They shunned money. So how can this church be so rich? You let Mother Teresa, you let a nun do human trafficking, and you make her a saint. That shows you what it's about. That shows you what it's about. Religion is people's opiate. It is. It is. Some of the stuff they teach is good. Some of it, I don't disagree. Socializing is not a bad thing. It's not. I mean, the true practice of it. But the black churches have been used to manipulate people. I mean, you can go get the stuff up in the churches now. The churches work for the government. And so you really can't trust. That's a government agent. The church is a government agent. So I don't know if you can really trust that. That's why, your spirituality has to be for you. But to say that it's all negative, no, it ain't all negative. There's some positive things, of course. But, the thing I always say, demons can do good work. So you and there's a demonic part of most churches, most religions. There's a demonic part of it too. Just like somebody was saying, people was looking at Eminem, and a lot of them, well, he kneeled down just like Kaepernick. No, that was not what he was kneeling down to. Totally different. And if somebody wrote it in my comments, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, well, you think he bending down to Kaepernick. Somebody was saying they told him not to kneel. Okay. They ain't, since that Janet Jackson stuff, like they was talking about Snoop couldn't put a rag in his pocket. You don't think they looked at his outfit? You don't think they okayed his outfit? You on national TV after the Janet Jackson shit? You don't think they okayed his outfit? You don't think they chose to put them dudes in prison gear representing the colored people, the melanated people? I mean, this was a idea that you just dancing entertainers, jailbirds. And so that should have been a big cry. Like, how do you have these jailbirds? Like, what are you telling the people? I mean, it's just, it makes no sense. But yeah, I agree, Jay. Some of this stuff is good. I mean, how do I want to put, okay, I have always had the ability to see the good and the bad and the ugly in religious institutions. Some institutions are so pure, I have a hard time because the pure ones, the energy becomes so intense that it gives me a hard time in some ways, where the negative shit is just so easy to just see all the negative that's coming out of it doesn't affect me. The better, and it's not because I'm demonic, it's just the energy is so intense and I am so open to that intense goodness. I can feel the goodness. So I've been to mosques like that and I've been to churches like that. Can't say more than often not, but in my lifetime, I have been to places like that where the energy was so good that it really overwhelmed me because I'm so attuned and tuned to it. I remember that comment. It's over L. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Sean. I think LG is a little bit of trolling. So because it's funny, like they show on my system that pro athletes listen to me. And I guess people share a lot of my shit on Facebook. I never see it, but I guess so. Because they're showing me how the word is getting out, and Facebook is somebody's putting my stuff on Facebook. So I ain't posted in about 4 or 5 months. I'm getting away from being sucked in. Because that's what Facebook does. It tries to suck you in. It wants you to comment. I mean, try to hold off commenting and see how you'll still seeing shit. Well, I've got to say this and I've got to say that. Yeah. Has there ever been a religion that wasn't about control? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, if you study how the religions come in, it's always been used as a means of control. Same way that, what's his name? Muhammad, the same way Muhammad would attack people. So, well, I'm gonna read more and I do have to go. So thank you for all the questions. I'm sorry. Jay Bands, Lakers not winning this year. There's a chance. There's a channel to sub to me with over 300K subscribers. That shit don't sit well with me for some reason. Yeah, look into them. If it don't sit into you, it's probably something negative that's come around you and they watching you. Something you putting out, they watching you about. So if it's giving you that feeling, beware. See if they try to, cut into you. And I mean, try to look you up and stuff. And if you already got a bad feeling going into it, there's more behind it. Here it is. Here it is. I'm sorry, I didn't. Okay, so the word is Uamchi. Uamchi. And Uamchi basically is the Mayan word. One interpretation is the tree that awakens us, or we awake in the tree. So it's the tree that awakens us, or we awaken in the tree. I was trying to add that earlier. But Mora, give a little time walking information. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way. And to all my relations out there, I am another yourself. Well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your humble host. I am your very smooth host. Big Pontiac, 8 Wind is timeless. Time Lord. Till we meet again, say less.